So Chad he won handily in his reelection.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. I appreciate that.
And here's the fun thing with Chad that I love is that we as Republicans were on different camps for the governor's race.
We were. I
And
agree.
Chad is very passionate about his politics. And that's one of the things I love about him.
Well, now I could say the same for
I
you.
am. I am. We're pragmatic. We are team
I
players.
think we see parallels.
Mm-hmm.
I think we see the road leading to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how we get there.
It's just how we get there.
You know,
And sometimes it's a challenge.
lots of challenges. Lots of challenges. But no, I think we're trying to be as united as we can.
Sure.
And there's some people that are, as we were talking earlier, that are questioning.
I get it.
But we have to be careful moving forward. If don't, we'll fall 10 steps back.
True story.
And there's been a lot of progress made in the last several years that I think has been very positive for our country and our state. And people, the general citizens, I don't realize, but it affects us on the local level, particularly for my profession as a sheriff in law enforcement. It's been there's been a lot of things that have come about that have supported us, that have lifted us, that in some years past have been really negative. And so I'm glad to see that open back up. I'm glad to see these conversations happening. Do I agree with everything that goes on out of D.C.? No. And I'm sure anybody watching or listening doesn't agree with everything coming out of D.C., but I think the majority of it is for the betterment of our society, and we have so many trying to come and tear us down.
True story.
And the more you pull me left, the harder I'm going to go right.
Oh, honey. Yeah.
And then you know what you just imagine that tug of war rope. We want to try to keep the scales balanced. We want to try to keep the rope in the center. But when you start out with things like the mayor of New York City, or you see what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan,
Crazy.
how do we counter that? And that's not America. That's not us. Now, of course, when you get south of the Ohio River, it's a different world in itself.
It is.
And then when you come to Monteagle, Tennessee, that's even different than everywhere else.
Oh,
So I guess I've learned when in Rome, do as the Romans.
Sure.
So when I'm here as your guest, I do as you do.
Well, Coffee County has had some. I won Coffee County. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And
Congratulations on that.
a coffee and Grundy, man. I did it. Honestly, I'm very proud of that.
Well, you're well liked down there, Ivan. You always will be.
Thank you.
And you've always been very supportive to the causes in our area. You have always shown up. You've always been there. You came to events during my campaign where I spoke, and I appreciate that. And you didn't have to do that, but you care, and don't think it didn't go recognized.
Thank you, Chad. Well, you're old school. We were talking about the days of the moderates, right? The days when it would you're a farmer by trade for the most part, I would say. You're connected to the land, and it's just salt of the earth kind of issues.
Is. Yeah, it is. And, a lot of the philosophies I've seen, Ava, is, for the most part, people of our region, and I say that with Coffee, Franklin, Grundy, Marion County. For the most part, we just want to be left the hell alone.
Yeah. Just leave us alone.
Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Let us go about our day. Let's go about our day without over-regulation, over-involvement of the government, over-involvement of law enforcement. And I'm reading that and I'm seeing it. But in my profession, we get so wrapped up in technology, and we get so wrapped up in all the innovations and the latest and the greatest. when we may have to sit back and go, whoa, we may have a constitutional problem here. And then I have to look at what I swore to and who put me where I'm at. And I have to stand with the people. And if the temperature and the climate of the people is anti something, you better start looking into it. And so, that my education with that has come along because of people like you, people like Senator Boland has been instrumental. I feel like she has mentored me in many ways. And as a youngster, I might have not agreed with some of the things she did as a city alderman. I thought that was kind of odd. But that bubble had to be busted.
It did.
And the mind had to be opened up. And now I see why people like her that have been around for a little while did what they did. They saw the future long before many of us others did. And I really appreciated that.
Well, and that's why I think one of the many reasons why I love Marcia is that she's done the heavy lifting for a long time. I mean, back in the day when Jimmy Nafee ran the show and Lieutenant Governor Wilder, it was a
hardcore network.
It was a hardcore network.
And, Lieutenant Governor Wilder was in that seat, I think, longer than any other. And I may be wrong on that.
No, you're right on that.
But they had some conservative values, even though they had a D and a parentheses. That's the way it was. But those folks are now conservative Republicans, and that's where our state changed, and then it's changed on the county levels, and we're starting to see it on our school boards. We're starting to see it with our county commissioners, our mayor, board, and aldermans. You saw it really quick with the sheriffs across the state.
Wow, how did that lay out? I know we had some wins and we had some losses.
We did. I think there's 26 new sheriffs.
Wow.
They're in starting their first week of sheriff school this morning as we speak. But yes, there is a few that have been elected as Democrats in their area, but most of those are closer to the Shelby County in the West Tennessee.
Sure.
And that's the temperature of the people.
Well, you were post chairman there for a hot minute, weren't you?
Yes.
How did what exactly does that do? I mean, you've got a handle on all the issues really with that situation, I feel.
Well, to begin with, it was an honor as a freshman sheriff that Governor Lee appointed 2 freshman sheriffs of the class of 18 to that board.
Wow.
And myself and my good friend Sheriff Spangler in Knox County. And the first day we went in, Sheriff Spangler went in as chairman and I went in as vice chairman. A year later, Sheriff Spangler handed the gavel over to me, and I was stuck there for 3 years. And that's generally changes every year.
Wow.
But the board, I guess I don't know if they wanted to deal with, guide on controversial issues that we had going on in the state, and we probably had unprecedented amount of national attention, state level attention. We had a lot of media in the room unfortunately for a few years, and nobody else on the board wanted to be up front with the gavel, so poor young Chad had to sit there. But we navigated through that. There were some tough things that had to be dealt with. There's some tough things that had to be said. It's our profession, and in law enforcement, the post commission deals with all the training. We deal with all the academies in the state. We set forth the guidance for the curriculum of training. We set forth the guidance for the rules of law enforcement. And everybody has an opinion on that.
Everyone has an opinion.
And sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. But it's been an honor and a privilege to sit on that board. I've been told that's the highest appointment that any law enforcement officer on the state level can get. It does get tiresome going and fighting Nashville traffic sometimes. and I have post commission this week. But we've seen an uptick, Iva, and it's sad. You know, I'm in my 34th year of law enforcement. I'm going into my third term as sheriff, and I'm going into my 8th year of being on that board.
Wow.
And I've never seen so many decertifications come before that board. We've got formal hearings, and formal hearings are where they bring in a state administrative judge, evidence is presented, witnesses are sworn in, and it's just like a court hearing, a criminal hearing in court, but it's a civil administrative hearing. And you hear these cases of what some of these law enforcement officers have done, and I shake my head.
Really?
And just when I think I've heard it all, there's something really stupid that comes about. And I go, what are you thinking, and why did you do that? But I want the citizens to understand that that is a very, very, very small percentage of the 20-something thousand men and women that get up every day or every night and go out to serve our counties, our state, our communities in protecting us. Mm-hmm. There's bad apples in every profession. There's bad apples that are funeral home directors and cosmetologists and
There's
teachers.
bad actors everywhere.
Could be bad apples in the press. And there's bad sheriffs. And, we're none of us are perfect, but it's that little snippet that goes out and gets blasted out all over the media that makes us all look bad. And we want to strive every day to keep that in a positive manner. We want to work every day to do what is right, follow the law, and know that we're no better than anybody else that gets up every day to go to work. Mm-hmm. And we try to keep that scale balanced.
Well, post, it is a standard. It is a standard. It's a standard for everyone. And what is the new sheriffs seem to, you think you know until you get in there, and it's like, wow, there's a lot going on. Is that part of it? Like with new sheriffs, with elections, you always are going to have that kind of.
You are, and the highlight of any sheriff is the first day they take office. Mm-hmm. And you go, well, Chad, what do you mean by that? Well, that's the day of your highest popularity. That is, you're at the peak, and how long you can hold on to that as you move forward, because in the job we're in, we're called to service, and there's a 50-50 chance that we're going to make you happy or do what you think needs to be done. And then, unfortunately, there's things and news and issues that we have to deal with that don't make you happy. So it's a roll of the dice. It's a flip of the card that the sheriff is going to keep that popularity. That sheriff is going to keep his name in good graces throughout those terms. And we've got sheriffs in this state that have been in office a long time and are still very popular and have won re-elections many, many times. That says a lot about those individuals. Now, as time went, it was harder and harder for them to win those elections, and people just think you need something new all the time. Change. Well, by the time you get a program going or you get a department straightened out, then you want to flip it and reorganize it. And people do this. I've learned people use us as entertainment.
I swear to goodness.
We are reality TV.
Yeah.
And people have gotten into tune to that. And careful what you wish for.
It's just, you're right, because how many terms are you at right now?
I'm just fixing to start my third term next week.
It takes a long time to get these things ironed out as a sheriff. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you can sure tear it down.
And it just, that cycle of change, it's just like you're playing catch up all the time.
You are. And, the recruiting, let's talk about manpower.
Okay.
The recruiting aspect today is very, very difficult.
Okay.
We're not a popular profession anymore with the George Floyd incident, with all the lawsuits that have come out and all the negativity towards law enforcement, which a lot of it we've brought on to ourselves.
Sure.
But there again, that is that small snippet that I speak of. Um, People are standoffish. They
Sure.
may go into being a paramedic or an EMT or a fireman or a school teacher, or they may want to go into a different trade of being an electrician or a plumber or something of that nature. We just don't have a lot of people walking through the door. And I say this, and I don't say this to be derogatory, but all of us law enforcement executives, I have also noticed that we're scraping the bottom of the bucket these days looking for bodies.
Mm.
And that is dangerous. And I have held back and I said I had rather have open positions
Mm-hmm.
and double up with people, good people that I have that I trust, to pay them overtime than to make a bad hire.
Mm.
Because that one bad hire can lose the farm for you.
Sure.
We have to stay the course of our standards, and we have to keep our standards high. We need to raise our standards for the elected sheriffs.
Yeah, right. How do you do that?
Well, what is our number one liability? Do you know?
I do not know.
Any county in the state of Tennessee's number one liability is called a jail.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And we have so many sheriffs that come in and are elected sheriffs that have never had any experience with corrections, experience with management within a building. And for me, 400 inmates is 400 lives. That's 400 people that belong or are related to somebody. That's somebody's kid, that's somebody's grandfather or father, mother,
Sure.
brother, sister.
Yeah.
So when you get that inmate, you're also getting their families.
That makes
The
sense.
physical plant, the heating and air, the dietary issues, the medical issues are a biggie. So every day after you've been sheriff for a little while and reality sets in on you of what you've done, and you go home every day. Yes, I worry about my employees. I do not want to get that call in the middle of the night and hear anything tragic that one of my employees had been hurt. Over the weekend, I had some corrections officers got assaulted and one had his nose broke.
Oh, jeez.
And it happens. And they're fine. But it could have been really tragic. The other is, I do not want to have any inmate pass away on my watch, whether it's natural or self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that we have to deal with as sheriffs. And these new 26 sheriffs that are sitting in Franklin right now are getting that reality check as we speak, because I know the folks that are going into the room, and I can see and vision because I was there, and they're getting told right now, this is going to happen, and it's going to happen to you. And also, they're giving them the reality. You could be indicted. Some of you will be indicted. You will do something stupid. You'll get in trouble. Some of you are going to have health problems and leave office. Some of you are going to have heart attacks and die while you're in office.
Yeah.
I mean, in 8 years, there was 22 sheriffs in my class out of the 95. There's 26, and I think there's actually going to be 30 something in the room because there's some sheriffs that are that were appointed midterm,
Sure.
but they had to get on the rotation, so they bring them to sheriff school. But I've lost 3 sheriffs to death, and
That's a tough one.
it is, and it makes you reflect of, is this job worth it? And so when you have these quality people to get to run for office, we're having a hard time finding.
The same thing.
Well, they don't want to risk getting in trouble. They don't want to risk their health and their mental health. They don't, and they don't want to put their families through an election. These Tennessee sheriff's elections elections are just nasty as hell.
Oh, they're brutal. I mean, all elections are brutal.
But for some reason,
yeah,
sheriff's elections,
you got fired up on yours. I mean,
well, I
because
had to.
yeah,
I had to defend my honor.
I mean, they were
And if you don't
slamming.
stand up for what is right, Iva, then you will get run over.
Yeah.
And I have said time and time in the past, what are sheriffs, what are they based off of in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Do you want somebody lighting the loafers up there? You better not, because if they're lighting the loafers, they're going to get pushed around, and they're going to say yes to whoever's the last person in the room, and you cannot do that. There's a line in the sand.
Yeah.
That's the problem we've got at the State House.
Yes.
There's a line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem we've got in Congress. There's a line in the sand. And you can only take so much.
Yeah.
And you've got to hold your ground.
Yes, sir.
And people say, well, you'll lose an election. Yeah, I don't want to lose an election. I'm just 53-year-old. I want to get closer to that mailbox money like everybody else.
Right.
But I cannot, I guess, I cannot let election principles overrule what I swore to.
I know.
And that's the consequence that I have to face. And if it ticks somebody off, well, then so be it. I'm so sorry. Here's your funnel cake and rainbows and unicorns. But I think I've been around Grundy County all my life. I grew up right down here in Pelham Valley. I played Little League Baseball in downtown Pelham. I played Babe Ruth right out here my first 2 years on Monteagle Mountain.
Wow.
And I've got family all over Grundy County. I mean, I'm a Partin.
You're
Y'all have heard that name before. And I've got a lot of distant cousins floating around here. I think I know the temperature of the people in which I live amongst. I know what they tell me. And I think I'm the same with them and as them, and I'm going, I have those same philosophies. Now, I may take a different approach a little bit sometimes. And it seems like I'm always the one that has to be the dadgum bad guy.
Because it is rare, I know this is hard to believe, for, like, back in the day, our menfolk were line in the sand people. You know, so our lineage is line in the sand, man.
Right.
You just don't cross that line.
No, and,
You're old school.
Well, believe it or not, I really am a nice guy. But I'm like anybody else. You keep poking me, I'm gonna poke back.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. For every action, there's a reaction. Mm-hmm. And we run a pretty tough operation, and I've got to. And nobody wants to come back to my jail. It's not that they were abused. It's not that it's a draconian institution. It's just dry. They don't have these. Well, there's no vending machines
Bless it.
at the Coffee County Jail that sell Diet Sundrop.
Good.
I'm sorry, but I kind of a little snotty this morning, so I have to have a little.
He did not cancel on me. Cancel on me. He was
I'm not
feeling a little
contagious,
poor.
I promise.
I
I just got a little too hot
don't
Friday.
care.
But no, we're we've said this the last two elections I've been. I said times, we got hard times ahead of us. Got hard times ahead of us. And hell, here I am saying again, we've got hard times ahead of us.
We do.
And it just seems like people keep tugging at us, pulling us further hard to the left, further hard to the left, further, legalize this, legalize that. Let's just close all the prisons down. Let's just turn everybody loose. What kind of reality are those people living in, Iva? Where do they come from? And who raised them?
I don't know. It's this mental health thing, we're just supposed to walk it off.
Is
right?
it that while they were in the womb of their mother, did mom eat too many bath salts or something? I mean, it just blows my mind. I was sitting out there, before we come into the studio, listening to I'm a 24-hour day, 99.7.
99.7.
And do I agree with each one of those guys and gals? No. But they bring up the topics of the day, the topics of the nation, and they were, telling some of this stuff that's going on. I'm like, where are they got to be from Mars.
Are they
They
moving?
they got to be alien. I really believe, like Burchett says, Burchett got to chasing UFOs here before the election, and I'm starting to, I should have brought my aluminum foil cowboy hat the guys have got built for me, and I should have put that on because I think these people were interjected in here by aliens.
Somebody's trying to kill us, I'm telling you.
Where do they come from? I mean, I'm really believing Sasquatch is running around on the mountain up here somewhere now.
Growth, Coffee County. You guys are holding the line for us. You know, it's a tough. Everyone's afraid of growth.
We're going to have to
Because
put a toll booth down here at the bottom of the mountain.
yeah, what are we gonna do? How's County handling that? I know that you have different issues than we do.
It is, and it's a double-edged sword. Again, this is one of those issues, it's kind of out of my purview, but as a citizen, just because I'm sheriff doesn't mean I give up my rights as being a citizen.
Right.
I come from an agriculture background, there in Pelham Valley, and there's nothing no more than I love is the smell of diesel fuel going across the field on fresh turned ground. But we are centrally located here basically between Chattanooga and Nashville. We have 30 miles of interstate that cut right through the center of our county. We are a natural attraction for many things, and what we're seeing is Nashville and Murfreesboro emptying out now. They're running. Longtime citizens of Rutherford County are running out of Rutherford County and coming our direction. They're coming to Franklin County, Coffee County, Cannon County, Warren County, Bedford County. For years and years and years, we've had leaders, good people, elected county commissioners, elected city aldermen, mayor boards and aldermen. They've had their head in the sand. We have let our utilities dilapidate because of low fees. We've had some of the cheapest water rates in Manchester, and I can only really speak for Manchester because that's where I live. But for years and years, those rates have been below the standard. Well, now growth is hitting, subdivisions are coming in, there's more demand for services, more demand for sewer, more demand for water. Normandy Lake,
Jeez, yeah.
we're taxing it. The precious Duck River supplies a lot of water for a lot of people. It's to the point now they're having a conversation to bring in that dam, starting another dam project over in Columbia because of that area. Can you imagine Murray County and Spring Hill and all? I mean, it's blowing up. So, they're trying to supply that water. So, fortunately, we've got some people in place in our county government that are seeing, hey, we got to hold back. Now, again, they're holding back, and then you've got the other side going, well, you're violating. You're
Constitutional
violating
rights.
my rights.
That's right.
So it's a fine line of people's rights to do with their property, which I agree with,
Right.
to what now we've got to protect the overall masses within our county.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Sure it does.
And it's taxing our schools. Manchester City just voted to build, I think, another middle school the other night.
Wow.
The county just came a couple of meetings ago to the county commission wanting $60 million for another elementary school, by the way, that's in the UGB for Tullahoma. Tullahoma and Manchester meet. The city limits meet. They touch.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yes, at Hickerson Station and Crumpton Creek. So Tullahoma and Manchester are closing in on each other, and this school is right in the middle of that zone.
Wow.
And before long, that area where Hickerson Station Elementary is going to be gobbled up by Tullahoma. So the county's going, whoa, why do we need to spend this kind of money
Right.
if Tullahoma is going to be, they're in the process of annexing a large piece of property basically across the highway from this school. So those are common sense questions we got to have. We're needing a new justice center, courtrooms,
Yeah.
terribly bad. I've been fighting, it's well known. I've been to Marsh's office in D.C. We're needing property. We're wanting property from AEDC. They'll never do anything with it. They've had it eminent domained 80 years ago, and it's right 130 something acres outside the gate, right beside the high school. Our high school, our Coffee County High School, is on a lifetime diary. It's on an extended land use grant from the Air Force. And when it ceases to be a high school, it goes back to the federal government. People don't realize that.
Wow,
That whole
I
tract
didn't.
of land on 55 there was eminent domain back, during World War II by the U.S. government. And we're just wanting to extend that and go, well, you did this.
Yeah, that
let
makes
us do it,
sense.
and it would help the citizens of Manchester Tullahoma. But to get back to your point with the growth, we have really got to monitor it. Governor Lee bought basically 2,000 acres right dead center of Manchester, between Highway 55 and Highway 53.
That's right.
Two 4-lane highways, railroad, for a large, well, they called it mega site, but I've been told by Mayor Hunt I can't say that anymore. It's the I-24 Industrial Park.
Okay. Mega site. I'm sorry.
But do you think the state of Tennessee is going to let that lay there?
No.
No. So we've got an Air Force base in our county, and they've got a lot of things going on, testing those aliens and looking for Sasquatches, and working with NASA and doing all that, all that brainiac stuff that they do out there. I've got a feeling that there could be, some subsidiaries go into that property that's going to bring people. The base over the next few years is supposed to double in employment size.
Wow.
So housing, daycare, child care is a major conversation that really hasn't made the media, but we need more child care. So with that comes more services. We are still, we're having a new circuit court clerk come in this time, and we've still got the same amount of clerks in our courthouse that we had, I think, in 1994. But the caseload has tripled and quadrupled since then.
That's crazy.
I mean, I've got 2 full-time circuits, 2 full-time general sessions. That's not counting juvenile chancery.
Yeah.
Just we're one single county judicial district where you've got, 5 or 6 counties?
Yeah.
In the 12th?
Yeah.
So that comes with kids that needs classroom space.
Yeah.
They're going to need ambulances.
Yeah.
They're going to need fire trucks. They're going to need water. Unfortunately, they're going to need jail beds. Unfortunately. So it all comes at once. I do not. I hope I can get through my career without having to add on to the jail. But it happens every time. When the school system starts doing projects, building projects, it's right in tune every time. Every time that jails get added on to, courts get added on to. So that cost, and everybody says, well, you get tax revenue from that. Yes, you do. You know what we had, folks, in Coffee County for the 24-25 year, if I believe I've got that right? We had $200,000 of extra revenue come in from our growth. Growth of that magnitude does not cover the reoccurring expenditures.
Okay.
It does not cover paving of the streets. It does not cover, putting in new sewer lines. It does not cover, yes, you can get that one-time fee out of contractors with whatever rules or assessment fees you put down. That's one time. But after that, they turn that street, that road, that sewer line, that water line over to who? The municipality or some form of government to maintain for the rest of its life. That costs money. That jail has to have a lot of work done to it every day. They're painting the inside of my jail right now. But it's the little things. It's, new door hinges, new door locks, new camera system, new HVAC units at $150,000 a piece. So it's that reoccurring maintenance. And the revenues don't cover it.
It doesn't cover it.
And that's when you get in those committee rooms and you sit down and you start, the budget people bring this over here and go, how are you going to pay for this? So that's the reality we live in, and the state faces the same issues on road building.
Sure.
Any kind of infrastructure. Um, it's how we're going to pay for it. So everybody has forgot about Uncle Phil Valentine.
Oh, Uncle Phil.
We lost Uncle Phil during COVID.
Good.
But if you'll go back, and your good friend Miss Marcia and Phil, I would have liked to see where Phil was at in this last governor's election,
I would
because
be interested to see.
he would have been all over with Marcia, and that's okay, because they were, big time on the anti-income tax.
Yeah.
But Uncle Phil said for many, many years, Tennessee is going to have to learn how to demagnetize.
Yeah.
Now, is that a negative comment or is that a positive comment? What does that mean, demagnetize? Well, why is everybody flooding into Tennessee?
No income tax.
No income tax, low cost of living, quality of life. But as you flood in, you bring what your thoughts and values are from California and New York. Mm-hmm. Don't DC my Tennessee. Right on. Don't Californicate my Tennessee. Don't New Yorkize, because what you did in those states didn't work.
It didn't
Don't
work.
bring that crap. Don't bring that crap to Monteagle. Don't bring that crap to Hillsborough. Mm-hmm. Don't bring that crap to Manchester. Mm-hmm. If you want to come here, do as the Romans that have been here for 200 or 300 years.
Praise.
Okay? I'm going to say it. I'm going to continue to say it, and I will never stop saying it.
We're supposed to assimilate.
Assimilate. Now, I want to hear your ideas, because you're a fresh set of eyes and ears, because some of us have lived here in a little echo chamber. But you're not going to change the way my families have thought and farmed and done. And if you move in beside a chicken house or a hog house, it's going to stink. And it's not going to change. And in the summertime, in this hot, those hog lagoons are going to churn. And they're going to have an aroma about them. Now, if you like that bacon that you ate this morning, and you like those scrambled eggs, or whatever way you liked your eggs Benedict, that's where they come from. Now, I got to tell you a little something here, and my good friends here on the mountain in good Grundy County. Now, did you have any breakfast this morning? I haven't. Now, I would crave some bacon and eggs this morning. Now, there was 2 participants in that in that partial breakfast for some people.
That's right.
The chicken and the pig. The chicken participated, but that pig was committed.
Oh, God. And that's why you keep on getting elected, and that's why you're chairman of Post, because you tell it like it is.
Well,
you tell it like it is, and it's refreshing.
I've sometimes my, I lost my dad about 2 years ago.
That was so sad.
And my mom, she's still in Prairie Plains, and I wonder sometimes if I was a disappointment. And I'm country. I know how to act. I know how to behave. I can get out here and clean a fence row out with the best of them, or I can put a tux on and go to the Statesman's dinner. That's the way I was raised. I was raised with 4-H and FFA, and believe it or not, my 4-H counselor or extension people there, Mary Jo Brinkman, she passed some years ago. But when I was in junior high school, I wanted to be, you had to do these workbooks. I'm a tractor guy. I've been a long time John Deere antique tractor collector. Got several of them. Dad and I have been all over the United States collecting rare tractors. Some people like cars. Some people like baseball cards. I like tractors. Okay. So Mary Jo goes, oh, you can do that all day long. You're going to be in public speaking. What? Public speaking? And she shipped me all over Chattanooga and all over the state doing these speaking engagements. Mary Jo, I wish she could have lived to see me get elected sheriff.
Aww.
Because she was instrumental in me being able to get in front of people like you, sit here in a studio and talk. Now, is it prim and proper? Probably not. I'm just being myself, and that's just the way I am. My tongue and my mouth get me in more trouble than anything I've ever done. And I'm not, the most well-read person in the world. I did attend college for a little while, but I was busy eating a lot of Taco Bell and chasing pretty girls. And a sheriff at the time saw something in me and hired me, and that was 34 years ago. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the opportunities I had, and they were right. Being sheriff is one of the best jobs ever, most satisfying job, but it comes with a lot of stress, disappointment, and responsibility. And I can go walk out this door when we're done this morning and go from having a wonderful, smiling, happy conversation, talking about our issues, talking about growth, to size of jails and schools and politics, to getting in that truck and hearing that squawk box go off to something tragic. So it's the highs and the lows. I've gotten a lot of satisfaction out of helping people. And when somebody says, Chad, thank you. You solved that. That's what keeps me going. And it's not about, we don't get a bonus check for how many people we arrest, the amount of drugs we take off the street. That stuff's never going to go away. Everybody talk, you're going to hear moving forward with all these candidates about the drug problem and fentanyl and all that. Folks, that stuff's never going away. This has been going on since the beginning of time. Yes, closing the border is hell. But vices are never going to go away. It's just going to be a new issue, a new battle. And I don't know what we'll do. We keep fighting. And we keep fighting. And we keep fighting. And you keep digging. But growth is hitting all of us. We are sitting in a hotbed here. I've seen more things come into Grundy County than I've seen in my entire life. For the better. Right. For the better. Now, I understand the long time generational families that live here that don't want to see things. I get it. I'm the same way in the valley. Not a whole lot we can do about it.
Well, I think the issue for us in Grundy, because we're insular, it's clan.
I agree.
It's the clans.
And there's a big rock here that it's hard to bust.
Yeah, it is. So, and we won't have the water. So we don't have.
You think?
Don't you think?
There's a lot of tanks coming about.
Are they? Dang it.
And I think they're going to get creative in supplying water. And people need water. They need potable water. They need drinking water. I'm not saying they've got to have 6-inch water lines everywhere where future subdivisions can be. I've jumped up and down. We've got folks in Coffee County in certain areas that are still living off springs and spring tanks.
Wow.
Get those folks a 2-inch water line run down there where they can have water to flush their commode or take a bath and drink. We ain't got to get into all this regulation of 6-inch water lines, and you can do that later.
Yeah.
They can do that 40 years from now. That 2-inch line will be ready to replace anyway. Get those folks drinking water.
Amen to that. Real quick, speaking of Pelham, because we had a big issue with sewer and water, coming caverns, all that growth. We feel like we've got our kids after the coal mines left. There really wasn't anything.
Yeah.
And that's created the hopelessness that creates drug addiction, et cetera. Yeah. And so we just wanted to stop the cycle somehow. So you're going to have to deal with the hand that is dealt with you and enjoy the God's green earth. Pelham has always been the redheaded stepchild of Grundy County. It's in the valley.
It's kind of out there.
Out there, it's.
You think they want to annex into Coffee County?
No, you're not getting Pelham.
Oh, damn.
You're not getting Pelham. But Pelham, do they need to be incorporated now?
Well,
what's their answer?
Again, we say they. It's what those people at the bottom of 41 going to the county line on 41, and the people at the county line on 50 and 64. What does the people want? And it's Pelham Valley is primarily agriculture, but it is Grundy County should relish in the fact of Pelham Valley. There's been some transformation down there with industry. It's good dirt for industrial park, but it's also complementing in the agriculture sector. I think as time goes on, Iva, that you will see the potential if there's any more expansion along the 127 exit there. I think you see in the next 15 or 20 years of an incorporation there. Sure. It's very very easy. Your new incoming sheriff matter of fact reached out to me last week.
Oh, good.
And he and I have known each other for our entire career, so we're no strangers to each other.
That's wonderful.
And I'm going to extend any. I'm not going to. I don't want the people, the voters, now that the election's over with, to think that I was going to intrude on the citizens of Grundy County. No, I'm going to. If you call me, I'm coming.
Right.
But I'm not going to intrude on you. I don't want you to get hurt, and I'm going to. If I see something going on, I'm going to say something. But if Sheriff McNeese calls me and says, "Chad, I need you and Sheriff Fuller, or I need Austin Garrett, or now Chris Webb in Marion County is going to be a."
You like him?
Oh, he's a great guy.
Okay, good.
And you're surrounded by good people. You got Jackie over in Warren County.
Yeah, Jackie following his dad's footsteps.
Yes, and so Grundy County is sitting in a great spot for help if needed. The problem is, folks, we all have to suck our pride up every once in a while and make a phone call, because it's not a prideful thing, as it is a resource thing. I've got tools that this county doesn't have. There's things that this county has that I don't have. And it's like a potluck dinner. You throw it all in the toolbox and we run with it, and we got one big buffet here, and there's nothing we can't solve. Right. There's nothing we can't do. Right. That's the only analogy I know to put on it. But Sheriff Fuller brings something to the table. Youth and wisdom he has. Right? And manpower is the biggest thing. You need boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And we're all struggling in our jails to cover our jails. That's all of us. And we're here to help one another in this region. Because anything bad that happens here is going to happen in Pelham. It's going to eke its way across that county line to Rutledge Hill, Prairie Plains, and Hillsborough, and on into Manchester. That's going to rile me up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the root of the problem, and I'm going to go cut the head of the snake off because I'm coming. Been here and done that before. I've done it my entire career. When Sheriff Meeks was sheriff up here, I spent 2 days a week basically running between Altamont and Montague. And I told him one time, we had something going on. I come up here one night, and we had to deal with it, and we was having a hard time finding him, and he was off somewhere in Chattanooga. I said, "Sheriff, I'm sorry." He said, "Son, let me tell you something." He said, "The day I'm going to get mad is the day you don't come." No. And that lifted me more. He said, "Chad, when you boys come, I know it's going to be done and done right." And that just bolstered my ego pretty bad. But he said, "I know y'all will be good to my people, and you will serve them well if there's an emergency. But if you get that call and you can't find me and you don't come because you hadn't found me," he said, "that's when I'm going to be upset." So I've never forgot that. And that's the working relationship that we want to have amongst us sheriffs. But Pelham Valley is just a wonderful area. You've got the caverns going on down there. There's a lot of people moving into that area. And as some of these older farms start breaking up and selling, you're going to see that growth.
Well, the Clays are buying them up. If they go on sale, the Clays are going to buy them up. So.
And they're good farmers, and they farm some of our they farm next door to me. Another soon to be Century Farm, and the Clays have farmed it for years. So I grew up around Eric and Eddie, and know those guys very well, and that's what they do. But we're none of us are spring chickens anymore. So as time goes on, and money talks. I mean, somebody comes in. I mean, there's properties and lots selling.
It's hard to pass up, man.
Good
It's
gracious.
hard to pass up.
I was talking to a friend of mine coming up the interstate this morning. We was talking about the money thrown in these elections. I saw where this independent feller from Upper East, Hatley, his name,
Yes, yeah.
is projected to throw $20 million of his own money into his campaign. I mean, look at what John throwed into his
Oh, yeah.
out of his own pocket. They're self-made people. Bill Lee did the same
He
thing.
did the same thing.
And I was talking to him, and I said, let's just say John rose somewhere around $13-14 million is what's been reported, and I'm sure it's probably more than that. I'm thinking, what in the world could I do with $13 million? I probably wouldn't be sheriff. I could live happily, and
What would you do with $13 million?
I'd probably end up buying a lot of new patrol cars and toys for a bunch of deputy sheriffs. Like, really, if I was to hit something like that, let me tell you what I would probably do. I would probably be setting some types of trust up for my deputies' children
Oh.
and employees of the sheriff's office. That is something as sheriff. See, that's another side. It's easy for me to go out here and chase murderers and dope dealers. The admin side, the HR side, is the tough side. We've got these young kids that graduate high school on Friday night and come to work for me on Monday morning. It was the same way. When I didn't start thinking about my retirement until I was probably 40-year-old. Because I was wrapped up. We're all a bunch of adrenaline junkies, and we're worried about running around here 100 mile an hour chasing people and catching the bad guy, and we're not thinking about our health insurance.
No.
We're going to live forever.
Yeah.
Lord, let me tell you, when I turned 45 and got elected sheriff, I started falling apart. But I would really look at investing in their future for them.
Nice.
That can be done at the state level.
Okay.
You think about that.
Okay.
Moving forward with the future governor that I know is probably going to be elected. If they really want to do something for emergency services overall, invest into the TCR's retirement system, invest into the insurance plans across the state. There's some county, I remember here in Grundy County for years, they had TennCare, that was it.
Yeah. Until we were forced to do it, but yeah.
But you know what? There's some things we just have to do. Those people need that medical coverage. They need that security so that they don't have to worry about that second, third, and fifth, and 16th job. Do you want somebody on Don Hutchison's ambulances that has worked 14 other shifts coming to your house needing your help medically and then be fatigued? You see what I'm saying? The same way with a law enforcement officer, same way with a fireman, same way with a dispatcher.
Sure.
Taking that call, hearing those calls for distress. Let's do something on the state level to help our emergency responders relax that mental anguish of those things, because they're going down the road every day. I've got to pay this bill. I've got to pay this medical bill. I've got to do this. What am I going to do? And I have to say, Tennessee Consolidated Retirement is probably the most robust retirement system in the nation.
Nice.
It's, the state of Kentucky went bankrupt and folks lost their retirement because of a bunch of idiot appointees that didn't know about money investments, or the city of Memphis. But we have got a good retirement system, but we can always make it better.
Okay.
And they're very conservative about it, but let's help them. Insurance every year at the county level just goes up and up and up. So, my employees got a 3% this year, and a percentage of that's going in one pocket and going out the other in November because their insurance is going up. It's just in one hand and out the other. What can we do with the General Assembly? What can we do with our state finance department? What can we do with the future administration to work on those things? And that's real. That's real help.
That's real help.
That's real help. Real help for the state employees. I mean, I have to give Governor Lee and Commissioner Long big and Director Roush at TBI. They have done more for those law enforcement people on the state level than has ever been done in the history of this state. Our troopers are making real money now. I tell my kids if they want to go somewhere, you know, they look at other agencies. I say, if you're going to go somewhere, go to the Highway Patrol and make some money.
That's right.
Now, you may not want to write tickets and work wrecks and wear that Phillips screwdriver hat all the time, but you're going to make money wearing it.
All right.
It's real money.
Yeah, it's real money.
And I think we need to look at that on the local level. And I want to hear that we don't have what we call distressed counties anymore.
Yeah, we're over it.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
We're not distressed. We're not distressed. We're pulling our boots up and we're getting after. We're making it happen.
How do you do